Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. Welcome to this part 4 of my series of videos on the Reximex Meta Plus. The ugly gun, cheap, but is it worth it? Today's video might shock you. It might not, it might just be, well, I was expecting that anyway. But anyway, we shall take a look. What we're going to do today, first of all, if you can hear agriculture happening in the background, that's tractors. Can't do anything about it. It's just going to be happening. I could wait till September and hope they've gone away, but that's the way it is. We'll have to make do with the noise in the background. Sorry about that. Secondly, again, it's windy. Why is it so windy? I've got my little fluffer on, so we should be fine. Now, today's video, I'm going to look in depth at accuracy. Is this an accurate gun? Where does accuracy come from and how can we improve it? You will remember, if you watched the beginning of these videos, when I got this gun, I more needed a PCP, and when I looked at them, this design is the thing. Now, you know, bullpup, it's ugly as sin, but it's practical, it's short, it's easy to handle, and they're very, very good for home target use. You wouldn't want to carry it far, it weighs a ton, but for home use, it's great. And most people are saying, buy an FX, or buy a Daystate Blackwolf, or a Air Max crate, or all these things. Basically, spaff 1,500 to 2 grand on a gun and it'll be great. Well, yeah, I would expect it to be great for that much. So I looked around at the cheaper options and found this, the Meta Plus, which is large buddy bottle, 2.2. This one is capable of variable power from 2 foot-pounds to 30 foot-pounds. It's got a regulator, it's got a pre-chamber thing there, and it was less than 600 quid. So my thinking was, up here, if I can get one for less than 600 quid instead of 1,500 to 2 grand, and I can make it pretty accurate, then I've won. Job's a good one. So that's what I've been doing. In the first video, we discovered the trigger was shocking. I have adjusted the trigger. I've done nothing else to that trigger since that first video. I've not touched it. And I must say, I actually really like it now. I went to a record trigger and I thought, ooh, that's different. Not bad, just different. I've been firing this so much, I've got used to this. Firing the record was a little bit odd. It didn't feel dirty, but it was definitely different. So I'm liking the trigger now, but it is the thing I'm going to look at next. There's no gun I've got that I don't keep trying to improve. So the trigger will be what will be looked at next. In the next video, I tried to do some accuracy testing with the limited range of pellets that I had and found the accuracy was abysmal. And found out the reason for that was for whatever reason, the shroud was interfering with the lineup of everything. Maybe it was if you over tighten the shroud, I didn't have it tight enough, or it was maybe misaligned, but whatever it was, getting rid of that shroud, putting the silencer, moderator, silencer, direct onto the barrel, improved the accuracy no end. But I only had pellets suitable for springers, lightweight ones. So then I was waiting for these bad boys. My Pacific PCP pellets. They're heavier weight than usual, although not slugged, because I want to use a wasted pellet because I want it to stop quickly after firing it. I don't want it to ricochet for miles. So pellet shaped pellets, suitable for a higher powered PCP, and then I wanted to test the accuracy. I waited until today because my new bipods arrived. It's a UTG Rebel without a clue, Renegade, Recon. It's a UTG Recon. It was 136 euros for a bipod. I mean, I've got Harris bipods. I know decent bipods aren't cheap, but still. But it's got variable this, that and the other. And the reason that's so great is even my shortest Harris one, I needed a ladder to get up on top of the gun on the shooting bench to fire it. So I've got a monopod at the back here, which is adjustable. See, so I've got an adjustable bit there. I've now got a very good adjustable bipod at the front, and it is absolutely rock steady. So that was always going to help me. This morning I thought, right, my bipod's here, I'm going to do my accuracy testing. Came outside, and as you can see or hear, it is windy. The wind is blowing from my right to left, but when I'm shooting that way, it's shooting left to right, and you can probably see by the trees behind me, it is blustery. It's not a constant wind. It's not conducive to accuracy. But I figured, well, what the hell, we've got to do this at some point. And looking in the weather forecast, this is the lowest winds we're going to have for the next 10 days. So I just figured we'll go for it, and that's what we've done. I set my target up at 42 meters. That is my shooting range, my standard shooting range from the front terrace, our outside dining table, to the, you can see it behind me there, to my target board, which has got my target board, then it's got a big sack of old clothes, then it's got paving slabs, and then there's a block wall. So it is a very secure backstop. And then I got my pellets, and what I've got here, let me run you through my pellet choice. I have got Barracuda Match. Now, I only went for pellets from manufacturers I know. Okay, I didn't go for any of these shonky ones, sticky out bits with fins or French tickler ends on them or anything like that. I'm very much a believer of just a good quality domed pellet is usually what you need. And the heaviest of the bunch I've got are these Barracuda Match, which are 21.14 grains. Basically a 21 grain pellet. Now I've set the power on the gun, so it's not at maximum. It's going to be about where I'm going to shoot it in the garden. So I've got how much power and how many feet per second we're getting off each pellet. Now this is important because part of getting accuracy from your gun, accuracy is purely the relationship between your projectile and the barrel. Okay, it's how that interacts. The trigger will stop you, a bad trigger will stop you from getting that accuracy. A bad scope will stop you from getting that accuracy. But the accuracy of the barrel and the pellet stays constant, except there is an exception. The twist rate. This barrel has a twist rate that I've forgotten. That's how many times the lands and the grooves go around per 12 inches. Okay, so it's how many twists per foot you get. And if you change the twist rate, you change the preference of that barrel for the speed of the pellet. And because I fixed this at a set power on here, we're playing with a fixed amount of power. So the caveat I'm going to add to all of this is that these are the results I found at this power with the pellets going this speed. For example, this 21 grain pellet is doing 271, sorry, no it's not, it wouldn't even reach the target, would it? 671.5 feet a second, which is 21.14 foot-pound, which is 28.7 joules. Okay, so this pellet is travelling at 671 feet a second. It is the slowest of the pellets I've tested because it is the heaviest of the pellets I've tested. The next heaviest pellet I tested was the H&N. Again, I do like H&N. This is the Barracuda Hunter Extreme. This is different to the others. I inherited these. I didn't buy these. I wouldn't have bought these. These are the only pellets I've ever seen that are a posi drive. I can see no benefit of a posi drive pellet, but this one is. So for all you DIY enthusiasts, maybe you can multitask with it, I don't know. But this one is doing 696.4 feet a second. These are averages. Average 696.4, which is 20.56 foot-pounds or 27.88 joules. Now I will say these are average speeds. This PCP has to be the most consistent PCP I've ever tested. You're talking 5 feet a second variation at worst. You know, it is absolutely brilliant from that point of view, which is what made me think maybe it's going to be accurate. But my tests up until today really haven't shown that. The next heaviest pellets, and ones which I had high hopes for after hearing from other people, were these Barracuda 18s. It's my third Barracuda of the bunch so far. And this one's an 18 grain, so it's similar to the 21.1 grain, but lighter. Okay, and it is actually listed as being 18.13 grains. These are coming out at 718 feet a second, so we're 47 feet a second faster than the heaviest already. So come back here. 718 feet a second, 20.73 foot-pounds, or 28.1 joules. And I also bought another 18 grain pellet, but when I read the tin, this one is also 18.13 grain, identical weight. I thought, oh no, I've bought 2 tins of the same pellet, branded differently. But when you take the JSB exact heavy, no, jumbo heavy Diablo out and compare it to the other 18.13, look in the back, you can clearly see they are 2 different molds, 2 different manufacturers. It's just a coincidence that they weigh the same, and I got a tin of 500 of those, so I was really hoping they were going to be good. So the other one was doing 718 feet a second average. These are an identical weight, and they're doing 723 feet a second average, which is 21.04 foot-pound, 28.53 joules. So it's the same weight, very similar design, but it retains a little bit more power and it gets more speed. I don't know why. That is down to things beyond my ken. And the last one I've got here is I've only got a few of these left. These were the ones that were doing the best when I was playing with it, waiting for me other pellets to arrive. It is just your bog standard Air Arms Diablo Fields, domed, 16 grains, and they are doing 756 feet a second, 20.28 foot-pounds, or 27.5 joules. So they are the 5 pellets we've tested. So we've got a span of 671 to 756 feet a second, which is about 80 feet a second difference, and we've got a span in power of 20.28 to 21.14, so there's only 1 foot-pound between the most efficient, least efficient. That's it. We have the wind going on, as you can see. I set up a time-lapse camera down at the bottom of the range. So let's check out, first of all, my Barracuda match. The heaviest, we're going to go from heaviest to lightest. So let's take a look at those. As you saw there, there was a couple of moments where I thought they're going to be great. The first 5 I shot were quite a tight group. I mean, have I got a coin in my pocket? Let's have a look. See if I've got a coin in my pocket. I've got a 2 centime piece, which looks to be about the same size as a penny. And if I put that over there, if I turn it around so you can actually see it, pum, 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 pum. All the shots are hidden underneath that. And I thought, well, that's going to be good. That's going to be good. The reason I'm doing 5 groups of 5 for each one is another thing to make your pellets accurate is leading in your barrel. Okay, every pellet's a different alloy, a different mix of metals. When you're firing a pellet, the more pellets you shoot of that brand, that make, the better the accuracy will become, because you will condition the barrel to your pellet. When you change from one pellet to another, your accuracy goes to pop comparatively, and it will then gradually come back in. That's the theory. So with the first group of this, I thought, wow, this is looking good. That should tighten up. Then the second group opened up a bit. The third group, really tight, but then a flyer. Fourth group, hit and miss, literally. And the last group, again, we've got 4 nice, tight shots there, and one that I dropped. And to be fair, the one that dropped could just as easily have been me, because I am the weak link in this. But on the whole, nothing to write home about. So I was a little disappointed, but then we continued and I tried the Barracuda Hunter Extremes. Now these are the posi drive ones, the 19 grain posi drive ones. Let's run VT. Frankly, they were a shit show. I don't know if it's I was using posi drive pellets with a Phillips gun. I don't know what it was, but they are all over the place. I mean, some of these, that one there is actually part of that group, and some of these ones I think is part of, if you watch that again, watch that one again, you'll see they're just randomly appearing all over the place. It wasn't a good look. So we can pretty much say they're consigned to the shelf of novelty pellets, along with Prometheuses and French ticklers. Oh, it's got posi drive. Yeah, so what? They're crap. Don't buy those. Next, we tried, what we've done the Barracuda match, we've done the posi drives, the Barracuda 18s. Again, I had high hopes for these. Barracuda 8s, most people that I read things on the internet, on the forums, mostly using 177. That's fine. At the powers I want to shoot at, 177's no good, so I'm shooting at 2.2. But Barracuda 8s, everybody's raving about Barracuda 8s. So I thought, oh, the Barracuda 18, that's going to be cracking, because it's only got a 1 in front of it. And it was okay. Let's just, I'll play the video here and we'll have a look at the groups it goes across. My theory of the pellets leading in as you go seems to be working with this one, because that shot's nothing special. That one's a bit better. That one's a single hole. That one's in a line crossways, which with the variable wind really does suggest that it's getting good. And that last one, these, again, remember, it's 42 meters. This is, I've got very small hands. These are small groups for me at 42 meters, shooting just, you know, off of a table. So they were good, but I had been hoping for better. And then we came on to the Jumbo Heavy Exact. The Jumbo Exact, oh, why so many words? Why can't they just call it their 18 grain pellet? Anyway, it's the JSB Match Exact Jumbo Heavy Diablo. Let's have a look at those. I've got 500 of these. A tin of 500, it's the most pellets I've got of anything at the moment, so I was really hoping these were going to work. Now, we've got a crossed out one there. Those two there were actually from one of these groups. I double loaded by mistake. This under 600 pound gun does not have protection from double loading. I double loaded, they went in there, so I crossed it out and I started here. Again, we can see my theory on evolution. Not the Darwin one, but evolution of barrels using the same pellet. There's my first group, quite widely spread. Second group, third group, fourth group's just one hole. Now, I jinxed myself here because I was so excited. So excited because that one there, look at him. That's 5 shots in that hole. You've seen it on the video. 5 shots there. And then I took a shot at that one there, and I immediately thought, I shouldn't have done that. I should have left it at 4, because I'm not going to get better than that one. What am I doing a 5th? So I psyched myself out of it. But even then, it's not a bad group on the 5th one. I'm quite chuffed with that, and I think it's one that I'm going to do further testing with, and we'll see. But lastly, we're going to come on to my Diablo fields, the Air Arms Diablo field 16 grains. Let's watch these. These pellets are ratty. I've had these for I don't know how long. They're oxidised, they're all misshapen. This is the ones where, if you didn't watch my pellet preparation video from a few weeks ago, I'm going to put a link to it down below. These are the ones that, when I say I picked the twigs out, that's my preparation. It was twigs, dog's hairs, kittens, you name it, in this tin. I had to pick loads of crap out. So I wasn't expecting much, but I thought I'd give them a go. And look at that. Look at that. That's one hole. These are bloody brilliant considering. And they're probably the cheapest as well of the bunch that I've got here. And although I've only got a couple of dozen left, I thought, well, how good could they be? So what I did was I followed my pellet preparation video, link down below. I got those little scales, my little scales out. First of all, I did a visual inspection of them. Then I weighed them, okay, and I selected 5 that were the same weight, and then I put them through a 5.51, I think it is, 5.51 pellet sizer. And I waited, and after about half an hour, the wind just died a little bit. I thought, that'll do me. So I went outside with my 5 prepared pellets. That is 5 shots. Look at that. Now, how can I express how small that group is? Let me get the pellet with what I shot it. See if this will work. See if I can just pop that in there. Look at that. Look at that. The pellet is stuck in the hole that 5 shots went through. This is a under £600 gun. It looks similar, or equally as ugly, let's say, equally as ugly to the ones that cost 3 or 4 times as much. It took me 2 videos, half an hour, and a certain amount of swearing to get it to shoot this well. And it took me an hour this morning, that was on time lapse, it took me an hour this morning to fire those 130 shots that you see on this card here. And I can't imagine how, bearing in mind this is 2.2, how spending 3 times as much is going to get you more accuracy than that at 42 metres. You may be able to tell me why it's more, but I'm buggered if I can figure it out. I'm frankly astonished, and I am genuinely. You know, if I'd have got that group at 42 metres and that was the best it could do, I would still be sat here now talking to you saying this is a bargain. You can't get a single hole at 42 metres, but you know, every one of those is a headshot, every one of those is a kill shot. Most people, I don't know what you would be. I'm going to be using this for targets, purely targets, maybe Smurfs. I don't know, but prepare your pellets, wait for it to stop being windy, and look what it can do. How are you going to improve on that? Tell me, please. So I've got a conclusion on this. My ugly bug, it is ugly. I'm not, you know, let's not beat around the bush here. This is not an attractive gun. This isn't something you want to take home to meet your parents. but by crikey, it's accurate, and there's no denying that. There's absolutely no denying that. Let's, 5 shots, just again, just them on their own. Let's pop that in here. I am gobsmacked. The last video I did with this was when I had the FX Maverick with me as well. Now, that was crap. It really was. I don't know what the problem was with that gun, but I tried several pellets, and the best of them wasn't as good as the worst of them, which was the posi drive pellets here. So I don't know. Well, my plan going forward, because I'm here to inform, maybe that's why I did it. I don't know. It keeps me out of the house, and Mrs. is in there watching crap on TV. It keeps me out of the house. But my next plan was to spend twice as much on this as one, maybe sell this one, buy one for twice as much, and then say, well, here we go, now we're going to compare the two, and this is what your extra money gets. Your extra money with this, it's going to buy you maybe better quality components. The single shot loader, which I've used exclusively with this since getting it, a tiny little bit of plastic broke off of it. The sticky out bit, now they all have this, but I think it's bloody ugly. A sticky out bit there for filling your gun up. It had a little bit of bright yellow rubbery plastic on it, so I converted a 44 Magnum case to go on there instead. It looks a bit better, but it still sticks out. It still looks silly. The shroud was rubbish. The trigger was pants. But it can do that at 42 meters with me driving. So there you go. That is the conclusion. Is if you buy one of these, and if you get a good one, because I've only tested this one and I've had to work on it. The trigger you could do yourself. The shroud, yeah, I put it in a lathe and cut it down to make it all look tidy. You could just remove it. It would have the same effect. You could remove it, use a hacksaw carefully, and cut it off square and still put that front piece in, and it would be okay. You don't need a lathe to do that. That's the only real difference I've made. The power setting on here, this part I've got set in the same place. I've got 50 different hammer adjustments at the back here, a little turny thing for adjusting the hammer. On the highest, which is what I had it set to initially, because, you know, I'm a bloke, it was doing at maximum power 30 point something foot-pounds. Turn it down 50 clicks, you get click, nothing, no power, no hammer. Turn it up to number 2, you get 29 point something foot-pounds. So from the top to the bottom, there's only a foot-pound difference. So that's pretty pointless, except having it on 2 instead of on 50 makes that, the cocking action there, silky smooth, so light and silky smooth. And I think that's had a positive effect on the trigger as well. A friend of mine, John Budd, said, turn it down, it'll help the trigger. And I don't know if it has helped the trigger, but I'm loving the trigger now, as I mentioned earlier. And that's it. The conclusion is, for under £600, you could buy a Reximex Plus, Meta Plus, and do that at 42 meters with your 2.2 air rifle pellets. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit notifications. Keep watching, because I'm going to start shooting stuff and blowing it up with this now. I'll see you all next time. Thank you. Goodbye.